Hello and welcome back if you're a returning viewer to the channel. WB here, and in this video what I want to do is show you how you can gather your device IDs as a part of your autopilot deployments inside of Microsoft Intune. As always, I ask if you like what you see, be sure to subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell. Like, share, comments are always welcome, and check out the description below for a link to our community Discord server so that we can continue this discussion. All right, everybody, let's dive in. All right, everyone, here we are on my Windows desktop, and if we want to get the device hash for this Windows installation so that we can then import it into Microsoft Intune as part of our autopilot deployment preparation, we can actually get a script here to do this. And let me just kind of zoom in here, and you can see this is the Get-WindowsAutopilotInfo script. I'll leave a couple of links in the description below so that you can, use this too as you start to practice. And it's got a couple of different options here for installation that you can see. You can see the owners, right? You can see a versioning here as well too inside of the PowerShell gallery here. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and manually copy the script, right? So in my browser, though, I'd love to do a Control A, but it catches a lot of other elements that you don't want in your script. So hold on to your hats here. We're going to kind of just scroll down. We'll copy all of this here. And the other thing you need for your tech tool bag is you're going to need a notepad, some just basic text editor on your Windows desktop here with a blank notepad or TXT file opened up. And you also want to decide on the name of your device script, the PowerShell script that you're going to run here. You can see the one I just kind of generically named mine, get-device ID, and then it's PS script, and then the .ps1 extension. So that's what's needed. I copied that into the clipboard here. I'm just going to turn around and paste this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn around and then save this. And before I do that, I want to grab this name here and just copy that, and we'll do a save as. And I'm going to save it to my desktop, so I'd lose my head if it wasn't attached to the neck. So I'm going to change this to all files because I do want to be able to make this a PS1 file, not a TXT file. All right, and we have that there. We're going to go ahead and save that. All right, and the next thing that we have to do is we actually have to run that PowerShell script. If I go to my desktop, I can now see that up here on the desktop I've got that PowerShell script ready to go. Now what I need to do in order to run that is I have another PowerShell commandlet that I want you to run. Now the first part of this is if you're by default the execution policy for PowerShell scripting is disabled, and what this is going to do is it's going to turn it into unrestricted. Keep in mind, unrestricted means exactly what it sounds like. PowerShell scripts can run and they don't have to be signed. A better way to do this is to change the execution policy to remote sign, and then just remember to digitally sign your PowerShell scripts. So a little bit safer of a way, but we're not going to do that for this demonstration. Now, I'm calling on the PowerShell script, and then I'm typing a computer name here, and I'm setting an environment variable, calling an environment variable, excuse me, and then the output is where do I want that CSV file to be dumped. So for me, I'm going to just put this on the root here when we run this. Now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select this whole thing here. I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to choose copy, and I have an administrative terminal slash PowerShell. Keep in mind, inside of Windows, when I say terminal, it's just because when you right click today, you have what's known as the Windows terminal that allows you to open multiple command line interfaces, including the Windows subsystem for Linux installations that you may have. But we're using PowerShell here. That script is in the same location, so I'm going to call it from this location. And when we run it here, well, very anticlimactic there. So let's go ahead. Let's go over to our File Explorer here, and let's drop down into C: here. and we're down here on the root, and one of the things you'll see here is that we have that device hash CSV file, and if I double click on it, remember the other video that we showed you when we did a customized Office installation? Well, we're actually using our Excel deployment that we did in that video, so check out the library for that video if you want. But here is our device hardware hash, right? I do want you to see here that when we look at this CSV file, keep in mind that it is in the right format. Notice device serial number, Windows product ID, hardware hash, and that is something that we want to make sure that I'm not going to change it. Notice it's just in the fact of opening it, it's asking me if I want to save changes. You don't want any blank characters in here, because if you do, well, unfortunately, it's not going to work. It's going to be expecting a different format. So the next thing that we want to do is we need to get this over to a network share so that we can then turn around and we can upload it to the Microsoft Intune platform. So let's go ahead and do that. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate back to our local disk here, this PC, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click in a blank area here, and I'm going to choose Add Network Location. And I'm going to go ahead and choose Next on this, and I'm going to choose a custom network location, and then choose Next. And I have a little file server out there, Linux file server on the network that has a Samba share, and I'm going to go ahead and choose that and choose Next. If you haven't authenticated before, it's going to ask you to do some authentication. Now, this machine here is using an organizationally provisioned Intune account or Entra ID account. Notice that it's asking me to put my PIN in right here. Now we got to be careful with that, because if you put your PIN in here, the file server that you're authenticating against, it's not going to understand what that PIN is. So what you have to do is you have to scroll down, and there's the More Choices option, and then scroll again, and you can choose Use a Different Account. And then at this point, what you're going to do is just use the account that you would use to authenticate against where the information is, the network share is that you're connecting to, and you hit Enter. It allows you to establish that connection, and then I can create a link, and in here I can put that device hash right there. So we are ready to go. The next step is going to be to actually upload our device hash CSV file into Microsoft Intune, and it'll validate it for us, making sure we have the format correct, and get that device set up and ready for autopilot. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, everybody, here we are, and on my Windows desktop I've logged into the Intune Admin Center, and what we want to do is we want to upload those the device hashes that we gathered. So we're going to go to Devices, and then a couple different ways that we could do this. Keep in mind, under by platform we can choose Windows, or we can come over here and manage device by platform and choose the tile. Either way is just fine. And then we're going to be looking at device onboarding and then enrollment. And we've got a series of enrollment options here, including some things that we've looked at, like automatic enrollment. What we want to do is scroll all the way down here, and you'll see down at the bottom is the autopilot section, right? And that's what we want here. All right, you can see our Entra ID connector, even though it's still in the interface as Hybrid Azure AD join. That is where you would do the Intune connector for your on-prem infrastructure, again, for those hybrid Entra ID deployments. Next up, what we want to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to choose Devices. And from here, this is where we get to add our autopilot devices, and we can choose Import. And then from here, go ahead and zoom in so you can see this. We have the Import Windows Autopilot devices from CSV file. And again, remember, we have to make sure that we've exported it correctly. Now go ahead and choose our file. Remember, we put that file in that network share here, and I am connected to the network share that we did. We're going to choose that file, and I'm going to choose Open. I want you to pay attention closely. Notice that it does say we have a total of 4 rows. That means 4 devices, and those 4 rows are corrected or formatted correctly. When you are doing bulk Autopilot enrollment. You have hundreds and hundreds of these devices that you're going to import in a CSV file. You need to make sure that there are no blank characters in it. Even opening it up and looking at it, it's going to ask you to, if you want to save it, don't change it in any way. And in full transparency, the 4 rows that we've formatted here, these are the same device. I just wanted to show you that you can do, when you're doing bulk enrollment, you can do hundreds of these devices with the CSV file, and it will let you know and validate it like I mentioned earlier. You can choose import. Now when you choose import, be patient with this. It takes a while, so it tells you this process could take up to 15 minutes. Again, it really depends. I've seen it take as little as a couple of minutes, and I have seen it take up to 15 minutes in time throughout the years when I've done this. And then after a moment, what we'll do is we'll see that the serial numbers appear up here. We can see who the manufacturer is. We can see, what the device is. For instance, you can see that it's a virtual machine. And we will get the ability to start to manage this device when it enrolls into Microsoft Intune. And here we go, everybody. We can see that our device has been imported here, and we should be good to go. Notice that it didn't show up in here, and that's okay. All we got to do here is do a refresh, and we'll see our serial number is there. Notice that we have a profile. It is assigned, right? And if we want to select this machine here, we can select it, and we can see some information about it, right? We can see the profile that's assigned to it, right? Southeast US devices, and the associated Intune device, as well as Microsoft, what it looks like inside of Microsoft Entra ID. So there you have it, importing your device hashes into the Microsoft Intune platform as a part of your Autopilot deployments. And as always, I ask everybody, if you like what you see on the channel, be sure to subscribe, click the notification bell, be sure to like, share, and comments are always welcome. And check out the description for the links for the demonstrations here, as well as the link to our community Discord server so that we can continue this discussion after the video ends. Thank you for watching.